All right, and welcome to another exciting episode today. My name is Omar. We have a good, wonderful guest today. I'm going to show you his picture. We're going to be talking about painting and art in our times with artist Warren. He's an artist extraordinaire, wonderful guy, good artist. He's from North Carolina on the East Coast. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Uh, please introduce our friend, Mr. Warren, in the
Good
studio coming in. Let me
good morning.
I think
How
it
are you?
froze for a second here. Let me refresh. I think it's a second here. There we are. It froze for a second there. All right. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Welcome to the program. How are you this afternoon?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me.
Awesome. We are happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We knew each other from the different platform, and you're an artist.
I am initially. This is my retirement job, as I like to say, but it's actually fun. It's not a job. I enjoyed it. Been doing it for years. Now I'm more part full time than I were before.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And let me just go into the first slide here. Okay, so you had sent me a few pictures here, and then you painted a couple of things for me in the past, or actually, this drawing, this painting. It's a We're having some tech issues here. Let me bring it back in. Here we go. Okay, it should be good. Okay, so here's one of the paintings here, and Warren, if you can tell us about the painting on the right side there, what's the name of it, and what's the media you used in terms of painting it?
The title of that painting is Hampton Lakes. It's here in Greensboro, and the blue heron, the young blue heron, caught my attention. But it's considered a plein air painting, meaning I go outside and I paint outside, while I'm out in the park itself. And the bird, of course, he didn't stay, but I just remember where he was. There's a log there in the water, and he was standing by it, not on it, but by it. And I finished the background and the trees and everything on the front of it here, and I put him in place.
That's awesome. That's excellent. You mainly use paint for most of your artwork, or do you use other media?
Yes, yes. I favor oil paintings, and sometimes I start with acrylic, and that's it dries a lot quicker outside. So I may do a quick sketch in acrylics, but most of the time it's just pencil and charcoal. And I use oil paints on these. I favor oil paints because I can manipulate the picture, change it if need be.
That's awesome. All right, let's go on to the next one here. All right.
Uh,
So before we go into this one, what got you into painting and got you into drawing? Take us back to the time when you said, "Oh, I want to go into art, and I love art and painting."
well, you're talking quite a few years. As growing up as a child, my mother was doing the domestic cats and dogs. But really, what jumped, father used to take ink pens, and he'd do a lot of the Western capturing buffaloes with the spears and the Indians. And so that pretty much because his was so 3D and real. I mean, he used the color ink pens to do it, no pencil at all. So being that, and
Oh
mom was
wow!
doing the cats and dogs, domestic animals. So my first one, I think I did horses, and my mother still has that drawing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So my
That-
parents were
That's
artists.
That's awesome. I know I also had a little bit of art background in high school and stuff, and some of my family, dad's uncle, they were also in painting. And I really got into art in high school myself. I would draw, I would do paintings, and I had a few drawings that were in the state fair as well. So it's just a good way to express yourself here. And
True.
so, with that, what would make a good artist, would you say, in your mind? Is it the media? Is it the skill? Or because I've seen many artwork where there's a picture or a picture of a square or a triangle, and that to somebody is an art. And what would you say about that?
It's actually an expression of the person that's actually performing uh, the task. I mean, I tell people sometimes that I can't draw a straight line. You know, that's a infamous. Everyone says that can't thinks they're not an artist. I say I can't either. So, so you know, to me, it's what you take a pen or paper, you paint whatever substance you want or materials. Some people don't paint; they just cut out pictures. So it's really up to the person that's what they feel like doing at the time, what suits them well, and if they are selling, who buys it? That's what makes it art. I mean, art is I mean, you could perform, you play instruments. It's just so varied. It's just an expression to me of who you are or where you want to go with it.
That's awesome. I heard somebody one time said, "Art to use anything." Do you believe in this expression, "Art to use anything"? Because what you look on there, it can be anything. What do you think about that expression?
It has a lot of truth to it. To me, it's an inner expression, outward expression of what you're feeling in or see, or you feel that you see, your interpretation of what you're feeling, experiencing, or observing. I use it. So this past year, I had, you know, times were getting pretty, life was pretty tough. So I had resulted, as you can see behind, if you can see behind me, are a lot of abstract. You know, the pictures that you're showing are actual looking at, you know, the creeks, the rocks. I love water in my paintings, water and sky and in between. But here behind me is an abstract. It was an expression because I was, you know, it's after COVID, but I was going through a medical um, tough time too. And I used the art to calm my nerves and stay positive. I use
That's
the
awesome.
abstracts to do that. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I basically moved you to make be bigger so people can see the painting behind you. Is that the one behind you there? Can you point to it? Is that the one you were mentioning? Yeah, that one
Well,
there.
actually, over here, there's
Ah,
a series of these. I just got an
ah,
honorable mention this year from this one, this particular one.
okay.
And it represents a lot of ways, you know, a musician, you know, movement, and again, structure. And it appealed to me some years ago that, you know, here we are when we have winds. I'm on the East Coast. I don't know about you know, where you are, but we have winds. And I often hear the sounds where the wind goes between the buildings. So
Uh,
that's what started this here.
oh
It's
wow.
wind and the sound that it did going across structures.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
so
Oh
that's what
wow.
got me there. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's amazing. Yeah. All right. Let me go back to these ones here. So we have looks like a house here, and then we have looks like is that a stream or some rocks here? Let's talk about these paintings here.
Okay. Sure. Which one first?
Let's do the house.
That's an old barn. It's about 5 miles from where I am now, and on the high going past the road, I passed it quite a few times, and I said I would stop and try and capture it. So we had a sunset that was so orange, and, you know, of course the metal was so old and rustic, so they were more like a match. So that's really what drew my attention because it was in this about this time of the year, and you know we had no leaves on the trees. The branches were just, you know, they looked silhouetted, and I had a barn and I had a background that was almost the same. So really, I stopped right then and there, took a photograph, and but I pulled out my paints and started painting.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
And the colors in it, the texture on the roof there.
Oh, it was
It's rusted. It's
It
a
it
rusted
was
barn too,
just
right?
yes, it was, and it was so close to matching the sunset that
That's awesome.
afternoon. It took me about an hour, but I managed to get
That's
done.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, and then the one on the other side here.
It's an arboretum here in Greensboro in North Carolina, and this is one of the streams where it had maneuvered through the rocks and fallen tree branches, and one part, and it left a pool, and I didn't get much of the pool, but I want to capture the rocks and the branches in the water and the reflections. Yeah,
Perfect. What? So both of these are they done by paint or?
both of oil paints. You know, I carry a small set when I go out with me, and I set up pretty quickly. and one is the rocks in the stream are more relatively thin. Now the barn has layers of, because I put it on heavy when I painted that. I was trying to move fast and quick, and I used brushes and palette knife on the barn, but on the rocks it was all brush.
That's awesome.
Oh, yes.
That's awesome. Let's move on to the next slide here. Okay. So we have a nice painting, looks like winter. What type of media is best when painting or making art? Uh,
There's
yeah.
It's up to the individual. Sometimes this painting that you're showing is a snow scene. I started with acrylic because I wanted to get the feel of the sun rays coming through the trees quickly. And I did all my blocking, and that's basically an outline or shapes that you're going to go with at the finished product. And I did those in acrylic and come back with oil. Now it's finished with oil painting. That's a picture of a fellow artist who was in the Adirondack Mountains in New York, and they took that picture. I think it was a homestead where their parents or grandparents lived, and they just, and they know I like pictures from all over the country because I am not there, and they sent it to me. We were in art class together, fellow artists, and they sent that to me, and I wanted to capture it.
That's awesome.
I
That's
just finished that, by the way, in the month of that we're in September. I just finished that one.
oh, seriously? Okay. That was
It's
it.
still drying, in other words. It's still wet, yes, because it's an oil painting.
Oh, great.
I went back with
So
oil after the acrylic.
so I have a question regarding the white part of it. So do you normally paint a white texture or do you leave it blank in that area based on the canvas on the back? Well, I'm thinking you do put something there, right, to make it give it a texture for the snow.
Uh, yes and no. It's all paint. Some of it's dried. I'll do a dry brush, meaning there's no chemicals in the paint. And it just, particularly where I'm doing rocks and small petals in the road there, it was just me taking a dry brush and just running white paint on it from the tip all the way to the back, and I just put a little shadow behind the rock to make it seem like it's a form.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, and I believe we have one more here, one more slide. Okay, so here's another nice piece. Tell us about this
Ah,
one here. Looks like a sunset, and there's an ocean here, right? A water, or is
yeah,
this a sunrise?
it's a sunset. You're correct. It's a sunset. This is my time at the beach this past spring, actually. It was a little cool. It went in, the waves this surf was pretty high and coming in pretty good. And while sitting on the balcony, I just pulled out my plein air and started painting. Now, I take a lot of photographs of this scenes in case I don't finish at a certain time or it gets too windy or too cold out, and I'll finish up. And that was a finish up afterwards, particularly the
Awesome.
highlights. But the basics are the sky, the sunset there, and the silhouettes and the clouds. Yeah, all that was done before.
Oh, that's great. Are you the type of artist who can see an image and reproduce it on paper, or do you have to actually see it in there? Because some people are like that. They have a photographic memory and they're able to see it, and then they put their own skill to it and visualize what would be good. What type of artist would you say you are?
I photograph, yeah, memory. I have an excellent photographic memory. I mean, I can go places and not know where I'm at if it weren't for GPS, but I remember things. So I was doing that a lot years ago. I've been doing it for quite a while. A lot of artists do that. Try and remember the moment and lock that scene in your mind. And once you hit the all brushes to the canvas, you're still focused on it. But I like to take pictures first, just in case, because the light changes so fast when you're outside. It's not going to wait on you. And I wanted that moment, so I captured it quick. And you make certain kind of color tone notes. Everything that's in color is just in different shades of one color when I start on the canvas.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I also want to say hello to Miss Majid. She's been watching from Facebook. Well, I'm excited to meet Warren Moses. She's a good friend of ours who I think is a very good artist. And yes, you and your brother were quite impressive artists. She's talking about me back in we were in Terry Elementary School, where she was our substitute teacher. Thank you for
Ah,
watching, Miss Majid. She's a good supporter and very nice person who an educator. And right now she's in Georgia, I believe, at the moment. But very, very good. I'm glad she's watching us here.
well,
Any word for
hi,
Miss
Miss
Majid?
Majid. How are you?
All
Yes.
right. All right. So if she has any more comments, people will put it in the chat box there. And very glad she comes in there. We have about 10 minutes more to go on this. I usually don't go
Okay.
over 30 minutes. Is there anything else you would like to tell the viewers about art? I think we discovered a lot of your paintings here. They were pretty interesting. We got some good insight of how you paint and where you go about that. Uh, and then, yeah, go ahead and what do you think?
Well, art can be therapeutic. Recently we did something with cancer patients here in Greensboro. A few showings, a fundraiser, and what it basically do, it allows cancer patients to come in and learn how to do acrylics or oil painting or drawing, with free of charge. Of course, it's a fundraiser, and they do it every year. Um, so to me, like I said, I went through a lot of things here in this year itself, in the past 2 years, and I've used my abstracts to basically keep myself sane, is what I say. I can get lost in it and free my mind of a lot of the stress and uh, unwanted thoughts. So it's very therapeutic. If anyone's interested in it, I'd say just buy a discounted piece, a brush or pack of paint, and just get some paper and just go to town. It's very therapeutic. It
I
doesn't have
agree
to
with
be
you.
perfect.
I agree with you because there's another person who is on here on LinkedIn. She has a lot of followers, and her name is Melissa Houston. She says that she paints and she has all these watercolors, and she says it's very good in the morning. I mean, we always tell the kids to paint and do that, and it is a stress relief too. Yeah, you're right about that, because you're putting expressing your uh, thoughts out there, and you're drawing and painting and in terms of what you're doing. We definitely need that time instead of just stressing and working and reading a book. We need some time to read a book. We need some time to do some art, because it's an expression. Yeah, art is an expression, and
Dance, you mean
you can never
dance?
be wrong in art,
Yeah,
right? Right,
yeah.
right, Moses. So yeah, what do you think about that? Everybody has their own opinion in art. So one person's, uh, I heard this expression: one person's trash is another person's art, right? I
Well,
heard this
one person's trash is another person's fortune. I mean, that's what,
exactly. Yeah.
you never know. There are artists that use wasted materials. I mean, I've seen them paint on cardboard, things like that. Just to
Oh,
just to speak upon what you're saying, that some people call it trash, but some artists might say, "Hey, that's a piece of canvas. That's a piece of cardboard, something I can paint on. Punch holes in. Make." I remember when we used to do modeling, we used cardboard because we can punch a hole in it and stick a toothpick in it to make little towns and above, to make it appear like they're on the above water. You know, um,
fascinating, fascinating.
I
Um,
remember doing it years ago. I had to be in my 10 or 11 or something like that, I think.
wow. um, that when you grew up, I know you mentioned your. Is there any artists that we studied about, either Andy Warhol or Picasso or Dali, that you recall studying about
Well,
that you want to follow and implement? I mean, there's a
well,
lot of
yeah, Picasso, yeah, is uh, these guys. I mean, if you study their work, they they and there was a time that they only had so many colors. Like, I mean, Zorn. I didn't know what Zorn was until I actually started painting more. As Zorn palette, I had heard of it, but I never paid it any much attention. But some of the greats, Leonardo, how do you do a 16 and have your perspective right? So that was my teacher in perspective, because I certainly learned what a 3 point and 2 point was. If there's fellow artists out there, they might know what I mean by perspectives. So yeah, I just all of the greats, when you're talking about it, it's just phenomenal. The training and the learning. I have several books in my library that I sometimes sit back I was watching a Matisse and Monet, and I was comparing the two different artists, and the brush strokes. I mean, these are things that when I look at a book, that's usually what I got out. I'm looking and how they created and things like that.
That's awesome. That's interesting. So when you're reading the books, they give you like skills on how to paint better, or basically gives you ideas of what people did in the past. Is that what you do?
Yeah, it's more of a how did they accomplish that? And you sometimes it's a test. I'll sit back and say, okay, um, let's see, Monet had layers upon layers. How did he get that? That's basically what I'm studying it. I'm looking at the layers, because it's only one. It's not 3D. I'm looking at a photograph of it, and I'm up close. You look, say, wow. I mean, it's nothing like being there at the museum looking at them, but the books allow me to look closely with a microphone, magnifying glass, just to see how they accomplish certain things, and it just baffles the mind.
It
you know
is. It's
yeah,
amazing.
it does, it
And do
does.
you think that technology like AI and computers are ever going to compete in terms of painting or like that, or the human mind can never change in terms of how they think? Because AI can sometimes create stuff that a painter has done, sometimes as close or as good as it. So, what do you think about that?
AI, well, my dealing with AI right now is, I hear artists say, let's, that do it. My daughter, my oldest daughter, was telling me about that. In other words, we're about to do some, my grandkids. I made characters of my grandkids, and she wanted me to. And I didn't have a pad, but I do now. But to me, that's AI. It's using an iPad, and I'm drawing straight to on a
Oh
drawing
wow!
program, and she can and send it to her just like that. So
Yeah,
to me, that's about all I know about AI, other than the fact that they are reproducing a lot of work. And those are some of the people that use that as illustrators, graphic illustrators. They're exceptionally good at it. Me, like I said, I just got one, so I'm experimenting. It's interesting, but I still nothing beats a drawing pad and a pencil or a charcoal pencil.
I agree with you. Yeah, it's nothing
You know,
like that. Like
to
the
me,
having.
that's more relaxing. You know, it's right there. I can make change. Of course, you can do it on the iPad as well, but it's nothing better than having that drawing pad.
Absolutely. For me, it's
And
like
old school.
yeah, it's like reading a book from actual book or reading it from an iPad or a computer. It's not the same, because you're having that screen time, and then on the book, it's different. Like you can go sit in a park or sit somewhere and read a book, like the people used to do generations, and now it's you're just stuck on the screens, and it's not different that way. It's and so painting is kind of the same. You're just out there with the paintbrush, with your pencil, and your ideas, sitting in front of a lake or something, and then whatever thought, and you're just drawing it. Back when I was in high school, we had different projects in art that I had to take, and basically, it was saying that oh, we have somebody here who's a LinkedIn user. Hey, Warren, beautiful artwork. Uh,
LinkedIn,
doesn't
yes.
tell me the name who it is here, but I don't know. Anyway, thank you for that. But yeah, we would just look at the lake and draw whatever our mind is thinking of, and we had to have a book of about 10 pages, and it was all art. It was basically beautiful. Part of it was your house or the lake or whatever you can see, any of that. So great, yeah. Well, we're almost coming into a close here on this program. Any last minute words, and how can they, if you want to give them information, if they want to reach you, if you want them to paint, or if you guys want a painting from Mr. Moses, he's a good artist. How can they reach you if you are willing to give that information? And yeah, just give us the last few minutes words here. We'll end in about 5 minutes.
I have a number for art only. It's 336-255-1227. Of course, you can find me at Artist Card Signs, and that's ARTISTSIGNS Signs Art, ART.
All right, I can put it in here. That's the email you gave me earlier, right? I can
Yes,
put that in the
artist card
like for
signs
the people
art.
here. Okay.
Yeah, I used to be in the sign business as well. Artist card signs art. Yes, at gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. So that's the email if you guys want to reach Mr.
Yes.
Warren here
If you
for any art inquiries. He's very good, and
direct
he'll.
message me from Instagram, and that's Warren underscore Moses Art.
Do you want to type it in that chat box there if you can, your Instagram for two people, or I wonder if I can put it up here and I can give it to them. Let me. Okay, I think I have it. Okay, Warren underscore. There it is. Get it here. Okay. Okay. In the okay, let me put it. It'll be on this other side actually. Sorry. I'll put it here.
Okay.
There it is. Okay. Yeah. So that's the Instagram page for him, for Mr.
Yes.
Warren, and he has a lot of paintings there. So it's excellent. All right. All right. I want to thank you for coming in today on this program. You are an awesome guest.
Well, thank
There
you.
are so many paintings on your Instagram. Check it out. Any last minute words, my friend?
Well, I'd like to thank you, Omar. I appreciate this opportunity, and I hope that we have reached some potential or future artists out there, in sharing. Those that may not think that they can draw a straight line. It doesn't take a straight line to be an artist. It takes a will and desire.
Exactly. Like anything else, those are some wisdom there. So the wisdom of today is if you're willing to do something, do an art or do anything in life, just work on it and keep trying. Don't give up. And it's always a will. If there's a will, there's a way, right? And
Correct.
I want to thank Mr. Warren here. He's a wonderful guy. Thank you, guys. Oh, we have another guest here coming in. Let me just give a shout out to him from Kenya. Hello
Kenya,
there, Jim from Kenya. Amazing. It's amazing. My students need some paintings. Okay, so he might reach out to you. Uh,
that'd be great.
that would be interesting. So, Jim Malo, I think. I don't know how to pronounce his
Nick
name. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Mo-
Mole.
Mole from Kenya, all the way there. What time is it there in Kenya, by the way, Jim? It's probably like 7 or 8, maybe at night. That's awesome. I'm glad you were able to join us right before we cut off. So perfect, excellent. All right then. I want to thank you again, guys, for joining us. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. See you guys next time for another future episode. Next Sunday, like I said, we'll be doing the live Zumberty event. It's going to be live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. We have the 3 players, and we're going to find out who gets to be the winner. And we're going to have more specials, hopefully in December or in the new year. We'll take a break after Thanksgiving. And you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Have a good. Oh, there's Jim. It's 9 p.m. there. He's giving
Nine
us the
out.
time. 9 p.m.
No,
from Kenya. Dedicated person to follow. He's a
yes, yes, yes.
awesome. I'm glad you were able to join us at 9 p.m. in Kenya there. All right, guys. Take it easy and see you soon. And oh, we have another. People are coming in now. All right, from Nigeria. Oh, he's a good friend of mine. I have talked to him before.
Oh,
Uh, Greetings from Nigeria to the distinguished and the audience. Hello there, Tunde.
my wife's from Nigeria.
Awesome. Oh, his
Yeah.
wife is from that. That's awesome. From Nigeria. That's great.
Wow.
So we have a lot of Africans joining us here.
Lagos. What's it
That's
called?
awesome.
Lagos. Yes.
Yeah, he might be from Lagos, I think. But that's great. Now, guys are now showing up right when we're ending.
Yes.
It's like this was you guys knew about this a few days ago. I guess people
It's
just log
okay.
in and then they see we're live and they just hop on. So
It's
all right,
okay.
perfect. All
Thank
right,
you.
awesome. So I got guys, you can watch the replay. Thank you guys for joining. We'll reply to your comments and catch Mr. Warren on his network there. And see you soon. Take care, guys. Have a good one.